Welcome to GSD Brainers, the place where curiosity meets discovery. What would happen if Earth was pulled from its orbit? Now, before we dive into this chilling abyss of imagination, let's familiarize ourselves with the term rogue planets. These are planets that do not orbit any particular star and wander the galaxy untethered. Rogue planets are not just a science fiction concept. They are not even rare cosmic anomalies. Believe it or not, they're quite common in our galaxy. Recent studies discovered there are billions of these solitary wanderers aimlessly drifting through the darkness of space. They're like nomads of the cosmos with no star to call home. Now what if, due to a black hole, dark matter, or any other mysterious dark force, our own Earth were to become part of this celestial diaspora? What if it was suddenly yanked out of its cozy orbit around the sun and cast into the vast, cold expanse of the universe to become a rogue planet itself? So let's imagine for a moment that Earth is suddenly pulled from its orbit and sent drifting into the cold, dark void of space. The moment Earth leaves its orbit, things start to change drastically. Imagine the Earth, our home, suddenly yanked from its familiar path around the sun. It's an unthinkable, unlikely scenario, but not impossible. Let's delve into the immediate aftermath. The first signs would be widespread navigation system failure reports. Multiple plane crashes around the world and massive ships running aground. Simultaneously, GPS systems worldwide would fail, providing incorrect directions, and satellite positions would be inaccurately displayed. Every single satellite will be misplaced. Gravity would be a game changer. Without the sun's gravitational pull to keep us in check, Earth would be set adrift in space. But don't worry, we wouldn't just float away. Earth's own gravity would still keep us grounded. It's the moon we'd have to worry about. Without the sun's stabilizing influence, our moon might just decide to go its own way. And that could spell disaster for our tides, leading to massive flooding and violent storms. In the worst-case scenario, if the moon were hurtling directly toward us, we might find ourselves wishing for those massive floods and violent storms. Our story would come to an end right here, quite literally. Next, let's consider temperature. The sun is our primary source of heat. Without it, things would cool down pretty quickly. We're not talking about a chilly winter's day here, but rather a plunge into a deep freeze that would make the ice age look like a beach vacation. The average surface temperature on Earth could drop to minus 100 degrees, and that's just the beginning. And the light? Well, the sun provides more than warmth. It's our primary source of light. Without it, we'd be left in the dark. The stars would still shine, of course, but their light is a poor substitute for the sun. We'd be plunged into a permanent night, making it impossible for most life as we know it to survive. The sudden change in gravity and temperature could also trigger catastrophic events, such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or even a new ice age. Our world would be transformed almost overnight, becoming a much harsher and more dangerous place. As we continue to drift further into the cold and darkness of space, we'd face even more challenges and uncertainties. As we drift further from the sun, the Earth becomes a frozen wasteland. Picture the scene. The once vibrant blue oceans of our planet gradually start to solidify, their waves freezing mid-crash, transforming into a solid, icy landscape. As the temperature plummets, the oceans become vast, unyielding ice fields. The mighty seas that once teemed with life are now frozen in time. The loss of sunlight doesn't only mean a drop in temperature, it also means the cessation of photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert sunlight into energy. As the sunlight fades, plant life on Earth withers and dies. Forests, jungles, fields of grass, all the lush greenery that we take for granted, all of it would darken, shrivel, and decay, leaving in its wake a barren, lifeless landscape. This in turn would lead to a collapse in the food chain as herbivores lose their food source, which would then affect the carnivores and so on. As conditions deteriorate, with no rain falling anywhere on Earth, not even in the hottest equatorial regions, an unyielding blanket of snow would form, refusing to melt. Earth would be plunged into an eternal winter as the snow accumulates without end. The compression of lower layers into ice would spread its weight across the land, rendering roads impassable. Hunger and cold would claim many lives, and venturing outdoors with exposed skin would lead to frostbite. Ultimately, the Earth's surface would become uninhabitable. The low temperatures of the Earth will begin to destroy everything we have built, as extreme cold can weaken materials to a state resembling the properties of glass. A chilling reminder of what could happen if we were ever to lose our place in the sun's warm embrace. But is there any hope for life in such a scenario? As grim as this sounds, we mustn't forget the remarkable resilience of life itself. The Earth, even frozen and drifting, may not be as barren as we might initially imagine. Deep beneath the frozen crust, the Earth's core remains molten, creating geothermal vents. These vents, teeming with life, are completely independent of the sun's energy. They rely on the heat generated by the Earth itself. In these deep, dark corners of our planet, life has found a way to exist in total darkness, feeding off the nutrients spewed out by these vents. Our best chance would be to go underground. However, building cities underground on such a scale won't be an easy task. If we are clever enough to reach the depths safely, we could harness this energy to create conditions for growing food underground using artificial daylight. Fortunately, obtaining water would be easier, as long as you can survive the trip outside to gather sea ice. The salt from the seawater is expelled as the water turns into ice, so all you need to do is melt it to obtain fresh water. By the time Earth is as far from the sun as Neptune is today, it will be so cold that the atmosphere itself will start to freeze, first turning into liquid and eventually into icy stones of atmosphere. Therefore, if we want to continue living underground, we first need to seal off the air inside. However, this won't last for long, as we will need more air to survive. The alien planet we once knew will now have many stones we can collect and bring back to our underground cities. All we need to do is to bring them in, let them melt, and turn back into breathable air. Our atmosphere not only supplies our breathing air, but also serves as our protector. Stripping the Earth of its protective layer would expose the surface to the harsh, unfiltered radiation of space, delivering the final blow to any form of life that might have somehow managed to survive on the surface. And that shooting star you see in the night sky is debris from space that burns as it enters our atmosphere. Without our atmosphere to slow the debris down, even tiny objects can cause damage on Earth. The Earth would start to resemble the moon, and everything we built to try to survive would be at risk. The delicate balance of underground cities would be in jeopardy. However, if we are fortunate, we will have a second chance to survive, albeit with new challenges in a world without sky, stars, moon, and without sun. So, while life as we know it would be impossible, life in some form might still cling on. So, what are the chances of this actually happening, you might ask? Well, let's put it this way. The odds are incredibly slim. When it comes to the universe, it's vast, it's infinite, and it's filled with an innumerable amount of celestial bodies. Among these are rogue planets wandering through the cosmos, untethered to any star. While it is true that these free-floating bodies exist, the probability of Earth becoming one is exceedingly low. You'd need something like a nearby supernova or a close encounter with a black hole. Even then, the chances are incredibly slim. The universe is a place of wonders and mysteries, full of phenomena we can't yet fully comprehend. But it's also a place of patterns and laws. And one of those laws is gravity, the very thing keeping our Earth securely in its orbit around the sun. So while the universe is full of wonders and mysteries, for now, we can rest assured that our home is safe and sound in its orbit around the sun, and there are no black holes on our path to ruin our day. Or are there? To learn more about the possibility of a rogue black hole heading our way, check out this video right here. For more brain-boosting content, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.